How's it going, everybody? Dr. Coin back at it again, and welcome back to the Coin Cave. In today's episode, we have ourselves a 10-pound penny hunt. So we're going to be looking for anything pre-1960, George VI, George V, and any interesting toners we can find. Before I do get into this bag, I'd really appreciate it if y'all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more coin roll hunting and coin collecting videos just like this. Then what do you say I start tearing through all of these pennies? We're not too far in, and we just found our very first George head, so I thought I would flip it around together with you guys and see what we got here. A 1940. So we already got ourselves a World War II penny. Maybe there'll be some more of these bad boys, or even this guy's dad laying ahead in this big old 10-pound sack of pennies here. So usually when I'm hunting these big bags of pennies, I do them in little handfuls, and when you pick them up from the coin shop, they come in 5-pound bags. They're entirely copper composition, and they're usually only supposed to be from the years 1960 to 1998, but just about every single time I bought in one of these bags, every time in fact, there's been these hidden treasures inside that weren't necessarily supposed to be there. They said that there's even a chance that you could find large pennies, you could find all sorts of stuff, but right here we just found ourselves something else pretty good that wasn't really supposed to be in there. A 1953, and the toning on this is really interesting. It's really dark, so it either probably went through a washing machine or it was in a wishing well or something like that, but a very nice find. I really like the dark toning on that, very interesting. I might have just found something really interesting here. Now, I just took a little bit of a look at this 1991, and it's a little bit hard to tell, but the tone on this is really off. I do not know what's going on, if it has been gold plated, but I think this may be a gold plated penny. If you compare this to, let's say, one of the almost brilliant uncirculated pennies that I found, the tone on this is completely different. It may just be painted gold, but there is almost a sound difference when I drop the different ones. I'll try and do a bit of a sound test for you guys, and then when I compare the tone on this 1991 to, let's say, a 1994, very different. The edges on this are extremely pronounced too. Now the pennies do have sided edges, but this one is interesting. So here, I'll try and do a bit of a sound test here and see. So that, very light, and then the copper, a little more of a thunk there with the copper. So I don't know, this is interesting. Let me know if you guys have any information about what you think this might be in the comments, but it could very well just easily be a painted gold coin or a gold plated coin, but a very interesting penny that I don't think was really meant to be in there. It could also be a proof possibly, but Canadian proofs are extremely hard to find and even harder to probably prove that it's a proof. But if you guys have any input, please let me know, but a very interesting find I will hold on to nonetheless. Just found ourselves yet another pre-60s here. We got ourselves a 58 young head, a bit of a darker tone on this one as well. And guys, I barely even made a dent in this bag, so we got lots more to go through. Hopefully lots more good stuff to find. Just found ourselves another 1940. You know what that means. A George head. This one looks to be in a little bit better condition, not as much of that gangrene, that greenness that you see on some of these old copper pennies, but this is a nice one. We found some nice toners too that we've been looking through, so we'll see if maybe there'll be anything other than a 1940 ahead. Even if we find a few more of these 1940s, I really can't complain, because these George heads and these early date young heads aren't necessarily supposed to be in here. Well, this might be one of the best penny hunts we have ever had. We just found ourselves two more early date young heads, in 1953 and in 1957. So this hunt is just going quite splendidly right now, hopefully a sign of what is to come. Next bundle, we just found ourselves three more great finds, a 1957, a 1959 young head, and we got ourselves another Georgie. What year is this one gonna be? 1951. We're starting to get down towards the end now. We found a lot of really nice toners that I'll show you guys at the end. I'll probably do a little bit of a time lapse to show you all of the amazing toners that I found, but we just found ourselves another George head, so I figured we would see what it is together. A 1952, so hey, at least they are not all 1940s. There's a bit of variety in here. That's interesting. But hopefully we can find a few more Georges, maybe at least one or two more I'd be happy with in the rest of this bag. I have concluded this hunt. We got ourselves one more decent little find here to seal it off, put a stamp on it, a 1956 young head. So we got quite a few of the pre-60s oldies. We got a lot of really nice toners. That's the one great thing about Pennies, is you can go through and look for all the great toners. They'll really stand out, and hopefully you can see that when I show you. But before I do show you the finds of this hunt, I would really appreciate if you all would hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you have not yet. And then let's show you all of the great finds that I found while looking through this huge bag of pennies. First, I will start off with all of the bird scents. Now, these are the ones that aren't in as good of condition, but these bird scents are really nice because they were only minted for 1 year. So 1967, all of the Canadian Centennial coins had a different animal on the reavers for them. This one features a rock dove. So these are the ones that are not in the greatest condition. This is a decent sized pile of what I would consider to be almost uncirculated 1967 pennies. Now, some of these have some scuffs and some dings, and some of them have some kind of grimy fingerprints on them, but some of them are in really good shape. You can see that extremely reflective mirror-like finish on them. Another thing apparently about these 1967 pennies is you can look for doubling in them. There can be doubling in the 1 cent, the Canada, or this double date over here, 1867 to 1967. So I will throw these into a coin tube, and in the future I will probably check them all at once to see if we have any rare variations. These right here are the cream of the crop, the most beautiful pennies that I managed to pull out in this hunt. These are all varying dates from 1960 to 1996. My intention behind keeping them is basically just to switch out some of the not so nice looking pennies in my Canadian penny album with some of these very beautiful looking pennies. Just look at that right there. Oh. Now these are all very nice. None of them are extremely low mintage, but there are some variations you can look for. I believe in the 1980, the 1985 as a pointed 5 variation. So those are some good variations to look for in these common dates here. But even if you can find them in these amazing condition like this, I suggest you just hold on to some of them, especially the ones that are the best looking. This pile is all of the really good young head keepers. Now I will take you through and show you the different ones we got. Some of them have really cool tones, like this dark one on top here. You don't find them with this black toning too often here in Canada, or at least I haven't, but I have a few Lincoln wheat scents with this kind of interesting toning. But we got in 1953. We actually got quite a few 1953s. This one has that gangrene look on it right there. Ooh, this one has it pretty bad too. But interesting seeing all the different shadings. Some of them have more of a tan shading, some of them have more of a brown shading. 56, 57, and then we got ourselves another nice dark one here at the end. I actually really like these nice dark tone pennies. It's an interesting touch on there. So, a nice little stack of young heads. What I'll do now is I'll take you guys through all of the amazing toners that I found, and I'll probably do a bit of a time lapse just to show you, but this one right here is a little on the faint side, but it has some really nice blue toning in a spot just in the center there, so that's very interesting. The back has no toning at all, it's in very good shape, but the middle there has that blue toning. Now I'm not too sure if any of these are artificially done or not. If you would like to leave a comment on which one of these is your favorite toner, and if you think any of them are artificially done, that would be very cool. So let's show you some of these amazing beautiful toners that I found. These two right here aren't so much toners as they are possible different strikes. Now I'm not sure if they're business strikes or if maybe there's some sort of kind of clear color enamel finish on here to make it look different, but there's something up with these two right here. Now the obverse isn't looking too crazy on this one, but this next one is very interesting. So this penny right here is in pretty good condition considering it doesn't really have the reflective mirror finish that the other 1963s and 4s and stuff that I find that are nearly uncirculated have. Now pennies can come in different color designations. They can come in brown, they can come in red, or they can come in red brown. So this is what I would consider your classic brown penny, but considering it's in such good condition and has almost no reflectiveness to it, there's almost kind of like a reflective clear coating to it, but it's not the same that I'm used to seeing with the 1960s uncirculated. So I feel in my heart of hearts like there is something a little up with this penny, but if you guys have any information on it, I would appreciate it greatly. But now I will show you guys the George heads and what I would consider the find of this hunt. These are the George VI we managed to pull. We got 4 of them in this hunt, so that's not too bad. So that would have been 2 George heads for every 5 pound of pennies searched, because usually you buy them $15 for 5 pounds, and we found 4 George heads. So not too bad of a deal considering there isn't supposed to be anything pre-1960 in there. We got ourselves a 1952, we got ourselves a 1951, and then 2 World War II pennies. We got ourselves a 1940 and another 1940. So not too bad on the George heads. And now for what I would consider the find of this hunt. I don't even know if it is anything special, but it looks to be a bit of an anomaly to me. So for the pièce de résistance, well, I did some research and I couldn't find anything about a 1991 gold-plated penny or anything along those lines, but I'm not too sure if this is permanent marker on here or it could just be gold paint. I mean, you can see it chipping away there, but there's also a possibility that this was gold-plated at some point and given to someone as a gift. 1991 could have been their birthday, could have been an anniversary or something like that. So if you compare this right here to a regular 1991, you can see quite a bit of difference to it. And even when I do a ping test, this one seems to be a little lighter. It's kind of hard to tell, but I would love to know what your opinion on this coin is. Is it painted? Is it plated? Is it colored with gold marker? Who knows? It's a bit of a mystery, but this was a fun hunt. We found some good stuff. You know, we don't get to hunt pennies too often here in Canada, so it's a bit of a rarity. It's a bit of a treat. I definitely enjoy it, and I hope you guys did too. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Peace out. Until the next one, y'all.